All right, Laker Nation, let's dive into what's been buzzing around lately because the rumors just don't stop. The talk of the town right now is whether the Lakers should actually go all in for Walker Kessler or if it makes more sense to ride things out with DeAndre Ayton and see how he meshes with this squad. Now, at first glance, it sounds tempting, right? Kessler is a defensive anchor, a true rim protector who can clean up everything around the basket. But the reality is, if you look at where the Lakers stand today, this is not the move that necessarily has to happen right this second. The front office seems to understand that the team is limited right now, but limited in ways that might not be solved by just adding another big man. What they really need is more of that perfect 3-and-D piece to balance out the floor, rather than stacking up expensive centers. And let's be honest, the biggest piece of the puzzle here is DeAndre Ayton. The Lakers already have him, and if he turns into the player many believe he can be, then why in the world would the team want to empty their asset chest for another center? It makes way more sense to see how Ayton performs, especially next to someone like LeBron James and alongside Luka, and only then make a decision. If Ayton proves to be the guy, the solution is already in the building. If not, well, then you start thinking about bigger changes. Now, there have been whispers that Los Angeles could sniff around a trade deadline move for Walker Kessler, but you have to look at the financial side of this as well. After this season, Kessler is due for a serious payday. We're talking somewhere between $18 to $20 million a year. Do you really want to commit that kind of money to someone who, in this version of the roster, would most likely be coming off the bench behind Ayton? That's not just expensive, that's borderline reckless. Imagine paying close to $20 million for your backup big man. That's a recipe for cap headaches down the line. And even for those who want to see Ayton and Kessler together on the court, kind of a twin tower setup, you got to think about the math. By the time Ayton hits his next contract, he could be in the range of $25 million or more. Add Kessler's 20 on top of that, and suddenly you're spending upwards of $45 million just on your two centers. In today's NBA, where versatility and spacing are everything, tying up that much salary in two bigs who aren't elite stretch players could be a mistake. It's not about whether Kessler is good. He is. It's about whether that's the smartest way to spend your resources. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. The Utah Jazz reportedly want Austin Reeves plus 2 first-round picks in exchange for Walker Kessler. Let's pause on that. Austin Reeves and 2 firsts. That's beyond steep, it's absurd. Reeves alone could probably net the Lakers a first or 2 from the right team because of his age, his contract, and the way he fits into so many systems. Tossing him in alongside multiple picks for a center who might not even start, that's highway robbery. Utah is known for pushing the envelope with trade negotiations. Danny Ainge always asked for the moon. He did the same thing in the Russell Westbrook saga. First, it was 2 unprotected firsts. Then it slowly came down over time. It's his playbook. Start ridiculously high and hope someone panics. Even if you love Kessler, the question becomes, is he really worth the kind of capital that could land you someone who fills a bigger hole? Think about it this way. If the Lakers shipped out Reeves and 2 firsts, that's a package that could bring back a strong two-way wing, maybe even multiple quality rotation players who fit better alongside LeBron and Luka. Imagine if, instead of pouring all of that into Kessler, you flipped Reeves into someone like a high-level defender who can shoot from the outside and then use the picks to bring in a proven scoring wing. That's the type of construction that turns the Lakers into favorites, not just contenders. There's also the discussion of fit. Yes, Kessler would give you that rim protection the Lakers have needed for years, and he'd be a great lob threat when playing alongside Luka. But when you think long-term, the smarter investment might be in a player like Lauri Markkanen. He's more versatile offensively, capable of sliding between the 3 and the 4, and he can score without needing the ball in his hands constantly. That kind of skill set is invaluable, especially as the Lakers start planning for life after LeBron. Markkanen's contract might not be team-friendly right now, but if you could somehow package him with Kessler, then maybe it starts to make sense. But chasing Kessler on his own for a massive price tag feels like a move that locks you into a one-dimensional plan. And let's not forget, Utah doesn't even need Austin Reeves. They already have a logjam of young guards they're developing. Bringing Reeves into that mix would just stunt someone else's growth. If anything, It seems like the Jazz would immediately look for a third team to reroute Reeves and get back assets that fit their rebuild timeline. That's another layer of complication for the Lakers. You're not just dealing with Utah, you're probably involving another team, which means more moving parts, more risk, and more chances the deal falls apart or doesn't deliver the value you were expecting. So what's the better path here? You wait. You evaluate Ayton for the rest of the season. If he flops, you revisit the Kessler idea in the offseason when you'll have more flexibility, more picks to work with, and maybe a clearer sense of what the roster really needs. Rushing into a trade now, especially one this expensive, feels like a panic move. Patience might not be flashy, but in this case, it's probably the smartest play for the Lakers' long-term success. When you break it down further, the Walker-Kessler situation almost feels like déjà vu for Lakers fans. We have seen this movie before, where Danny Ainge sets an outrageous asking price and then slowly drags it down once reality kicks in. Remember how it went during the Russell Westbrook drama? At first, it was this wild demand of 2 unprotected first-round picks for a package that didn't really move the needle, and eventually it became more reasonable once training camp and the deadline came around. That's the same game being played now. The difference is that with Kessler, the perception of value is inflated because he's young, cheap for the moment, and has that elite defensive potential. But potential alone doesn't justify giving up a cornerstone role player in Austin Reeves and multiple firsts. If we're being realistic, even if you added Kessler tomorrow, this Lakers roster wouldn't suddenly transform into a title favorite. He would help, yes, but would he fix the spacing issues? Would he add the perimeter defense this team desperately needs? Would he make the offense more dynamic when LeBron sits? The answer is no. That's why tying up resources in him at that cost just doesn't add up. It's not like you're one rim protector away from a championship parade. This group has multiple needs, and they can't be solved with one move. That's why some people are floating other names like Andrew Wiggins or Herb Jones, because those guys give you versatility on the wing, something far harder to find than another traditional center. And this is where the conversation gets really interesting. Imagine flipping assets not for another big, but for wings who can actually play both ends at a high level. You put someone like Wiggins next to Luka and LeBron, and suddenly you've got a scoring threat who doesn't need to dominate the ball, but can still guard top options on the other side. Then throw in someone like Herb Jones, who has proven he can defend multiple positions and knock down open shots. That balance makes the Lakers much more dangerous than simply doubling down on size. Think about it. If you had Luka, Wiggins, Jones, LeBron, and Ayton, you'd have scoring, defense, playmaking, and size. That lineup screams contender far more than locking up tens of millions of dollars in 2 centers. It's also worth considering what happens once LeBron finally calls it a career. That's the elephant in the room for every roster move. Building a team that can survive beyond him is tricky, but it's the reality. That's why players like Lauri Markkanen are so intriguing. He fits alongside LeBron now as a tall, stretch forward who can slide to the 3, but when LeBron leaves, Markkanen can shift over to the 4 seamlessly. You'd still have Ayton in the middle if he pans out, or Kessler if that route is eventually taken. Then you just fill in the perimeter with young, athletic, defensive-minded guards and wings, and suddenly the Lakers are in position to compete for years after the LeBron era. That's the type of foresight that separates smart roster building from desperate quick fixes. Utah's angle is also clear. They're not looking to win right now. They're rebuilding and stockpiling assets. So, when they float these insane demands, it's not because they believe they'll actually get them. It's because they want to set the market high. But even if Ainge were to bring that price down, you have to ask if Kessler is the right fit for where Los Angeles is headed. If the Lakers are willing to sacrifice Reeves, wouldn't it make more sense to package him for someone who fills the exact gap they've been struggling with, like perimeter defense or reliable shooting? Reeves has value. His contract is team-friendly, and he's proven in big playoff moments. That type of player should only be moved for a home run deal, not for a piece that duplicates what you're already trying to evaluate with Ayton. Another layer to this is timing. Right now, Los Angeles doesn't have its full deck of draft picks to play with. But come next offseason, they'll have as many as 3 first-rounders available to move. That's a completely different ballgame. Having those picks means you can get into conversations for actual stars, not just role players. That's why patience is critical. Why burn assets now when you could wait 6 months and have a far better arsenal to chase someone who truly changes your ceiling? Think of how many times in recent years we've seen teams regret making the wrong trade too early. Brooklyn went all in on James Harden and ended up dismantling everything a year later. Minnesota overpaid for Rudy Gobert, and they've been trapped by that decision ever since. The Lakers cannot afford that kind of mistake, not with LeBron's timeline winding down and Luka's prime years ahead. Now, some might argue that Kessler's defensive presence is exactly what the Lakers need, and there's some truth to that. His ability to protect the rim and rebound is elite for his age. But you can find cheaper versions of that skill set if you're patient and creative. You don't have to spend the farm to get it. Sometimes, it's about finding the right role player who can give you 80% of that production without costing you a franchise cornerstone and your future draft flexibility. The goal isn't to win the trade on paper. It's to maximize your roster's balance. That's why the front office has to think bigger than just plugging one hole. And let's not ignore the fact that Ayton himself still has untapped potential. If this season is the one where he finally puts it all together, committing defensively, embracing his role as a dominant presence in the paint, then the Lakers already have the answer in-house. The question becomes not whether Ayton or Kessler is better, but how do you surround Ayton with the right complementary pieces? That's where the conversation shifts back to wings and guards, not more big men. That's why it feels like this entire debate is slightly misplaced. At the end of the day, the Lakers have to play the long game. Making a splashy trade for Walker Kessler right now might get headlines, but it doesn't guarantee a banner. Waiting to see what you have with Ayton, keeping your picks in hand, and using them when the perfect opportunity arises, that's how you sustain a contender. It might not be the quick fix fans are begging for, but it's the disciplined move that could keep Los Angeles in the hunt for years, even after LeBron hangs it up. And that's the bigger picture everyone has to keep in mind when these rumors start swirling louder and louder. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, whispers are swirling around the NBA landscape as the Los Angeles Lakers reportedly make a bold move that could shake the league to its core. Sources close to the organization suggest that De'Aaron Fox, the dynamic Sacramento Kings point guard known for his blazing speed and clutch performances, is on the verge of joining the Lakers roster. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the rumor has set the basketball world ablaze, sparking endless speculation about what this could mean for the purple and gold. Fox, 26, has long been considered one of the league's elite young guards. His ability to slash to the basket, create for teammates, and hit crucial shots in tight moments has made him a constant highlight reel presence. Over the past few seasons, he has steadily developed into a true franchise cornerstone, and adding him to a Lakers team hungry for a championship could signal a new era in Los Angeles. The chatter suggests that the Lakers are willing to go all in, potentially reshaping their lineup around Fox's explosive talents. Fans and analysts alike are buzzing with theories. Some envision Fox linking up with the Lakers' existing stars, creating a backcourt duo that could terrorize defenses across the league. Others wonder how the move might affect team chemistry, especially with veterans who have long been the face of the franchise. Trade speculations are already flying, with whispers of potential deals involving draft picks, young prospects, and maybe even some veterans shuffling to make the numbers work. The timing is also a point of intrigue. The Lakers are coming off a season filled with ups and downs, and the possibility of landing Fox could be seen as a statement of intent, a clear signal that Los Angeles is not just in it to compete, but to dominate. Social media has erupted with fans expressing excitement, skepticism, and everything in between as everyone tries to gauge whether this rumored acquisition is a savvy masterstroke or a high-stakes gamble. For now, the story remains in the realm of tantalizing possibility. But one thing is certain. If De'Aaron Fox really does don a Lakers jersey, the NBA could be in for one of the most electrifying chapters in recent memory. Teams across the league are surely paying close attention, knowing that a single move like this has the power to alter the balance of power in a heartbeat. Lakers Nation is holding its breath, eager to see whether this whisper becomes reality. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.